Okay, let's talk about pan tilt zoom cameras. They're really cool and they cost more money than regular cameras. In fact, some of them cost a lot more money than regular cameras. But we'll talk about each one. PTZ cameras, pan tilt zoom. All of our technologies offer a variety of pan tilt zoom cameras, and some are made for indoor, some are made for outdoor, some have long range, some have heaters and blowers in them for extreme. You have to look at the specifications of each camera to select the one that's best for your application. And if you need any help at all, just call us. With a few questions, we'll be able to dial in on exactly the one that fits your needs. Okay, so pan, tilt, and zoom are mechanical cameras. They have 3 motors in them. There's one for the optical lens. Now this is the same optical lens you'll see in a professional camera, except it's motorized. Then you have a tilt motor and you have a pan motor. So with that, you can tilt 180 degrees and you can pan 360 degrees. This particular unit here has infrared night vision on it up to 300 feet and an extremely long reach 5 to 50 millimeter optical zoom lens. This is a high performance long distance camera. You can also see it's a serious camera. Weighs about 8 or 9 pounds. It's made for harsh extreme conditions and it's made to operate consistently for 5, 6, 7 years, panning, tilting, and zooming. That's why they cost so much money, because the manufacturers have to build reliability in. So you have high performance motors in there, you have high performance lenses, you have a environmentally secure housing, you have a heater, and you have a blower. So really high-end camera. Pan tilt zoom cameras don't have to look like that and they don't have to cost like that. Like this little guy here, this is a nice little camera. Indoor use, pan tilt, 12 millimeter zoom lens on it, and infrared lights on each side. So you've got, I believe, 100-foot night vision with this. Great little camera. It's not weather protected, made for indoor use, ceiling mounted. Good looking little guy. Pan tilt zoom cameras come in different sizes. This guy right here pans, tilts, and zooms, optical lens. And so does this guy. And this is a bigger guy, it goes a little further. This one does not have night vision. There's no infrared lighting around it to light things up at night. This guy right here has 2 large high-performance LED, infrared LEDs on each side that cast out and generate the night vision. So the cameras vary in size, they vary in distance and performance. The cameras report back to the DVR just like a regular camera. If you're using HD CVI, it's coax back. And all you have to do is power the camera. Each camera comes with its own power supply, so you don't have to buy an extra power supply for it. You just run the coax on the CVI system, you just run the coax in, plug it in, the video is transmitted back to the DVR, and so is the data control signal. So you don't have to do any other wiring, you don't have to do dip switches or a 485 bus. If all those things sound foreign to you, don't worry about them, they're all gone now. You don't even have to address the camera. The system knows everything. Instantly, as soon as you plug it in, you have pan tilt zoom control of the camera. It's genuinely plug and play. Same thing with network-based cameras, cameras that use network cable to transmit the video signal. You plug it in, you plug it into the DVR, you plug it into the camera, it works. Now, because there's so many mechanical motors and heaters and blowers and things operating in these cameras, they draw a lot of power. And so that's why they come with their own power supplies, to make sure that we don't accidentally starve the camera of power, which is easy to do. Use the power supply that's sent with it, you'll have no problems whatsoever. Okay, there's 2 ways to control the system. The DVR has software built into it, and with the mouse you can pan and tilt any of these cameras. You simply select the camera, you go pan, tilt, zoom, and you can pan, you can tilt, you can zoom. You can also go with a joystick controller. This is what's called a 3-dimensional joystick controller. It's a great little unit. This can also plug right into the DVR, and you can either use this or you can use the software in the DVR. And if you're logging in remotely, The software provides for pan, tilt, zoom control remotely too. You can even do it with your phone, your iPad, and some client software. If you want to load that on a computer and really have some really high-end features, you can do that as well. The systems are pretty neat. You can program these cameras so they do custom tours. You go into a learn mode, it learns how to pan, it learns how to tilt, zoom, wherever you control it, and then you save that tour, and that camera will sit there and pan and tilt and zoom in that custom tour. It also has park positions. So you can set a park position. Now what that is it's dormant view. Okay, when no one's messing with the camera, no one's used it for a while, it will automatically go back to a dormant view of whatever the default view is. Now that is very handy because if you have someone that gets on with a phone and pans and tilts and zooms and shows their friends how cool it is and then forgets and leaves it zoomed into a rock, after a preset amount of time, 5 or 10 minutes, the camera will actually go back to its park position where it's supposed to be. Okay? So it can also do that. These are not auto tracking, motion tracking cameras. That technology was kind of big about 5 or 6 years ago, and it went away because it was about 75% accurate. And what it would do is the camera would park and it would see pixels moving, and then the camera would try and follow the pixels wherever it was going, which is fine, except when a moth got really close to the lens, it looked huge, and the camera would try and follow it, and then to make things worse, the infrared night vision had a tendency to draw bugs to it. So it was kind of a self-feeding issue. And they weren't for the money. They operated fairly well, but the technology's kind of fallen behind and people don't use it much anymore. I wouldn't recommend it either. So where do you use pan, tilt, zoom cameras? We use them in homes occasionally. But it's usually pretty selective. Pan, tilt, zoom cameras are fairly expensive, and for the cost of one pan, tilt, zoom camera, you can install 2 or 3 or 4 other cameras in different areas. And that will actually provide you better security than one pan, tilt, zoom camera. Because even though this is effective and you can pan it and tilt it to a number of different locations, you can still only see one place at one time. And so it's not necessarily better security. Usually you can get better security and better coverage with a fixed view camera like this. You can put a camera like this, you can put 4 of these in for the cost of one of these. Now you have 4 eyes instead of 1. You'll see a camera like this on large commercial buildings, big parking lots, big areas where you have to cover a large amount of area. Seldom do you see this on something like a house because it's just overkill and it's too expensive. You will see these smaller ones on homes, but not everywhere. A lot of people will put 1 or 2 in key areas. It's usually if you have a long driveway, wide open area, you need some coverage on it. Maybe a pool area. Pool areas are good for pan, tilt, zoom cameras. We'll put some footage up on that as well. So, durability high, performance high, cost high, reliability high. Pan, tilt, zoom cameras are great. We are experts at them. We will tell you where to use them and where not to use them, and we'll help you get it right.